Hey, I am back with another impromptu live video. I've been doing a lot of live video over on the main Eco Vegan Gal channel, and today I just launched a new series on both Facebook and YouTube called 5 at 5. Actually, maybe the full title should be Friday 5 at 5 because I'm doing these every Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific, and I'm aiming to do 5-minute long videos. So I did 2 of them today, and I found it very hard. So it's actually a great challenge. Hi, Kim. I'm so glad to see you. I've been seeing you pop up on my Facebook a lot recently, and you've just been in my thoughts a lot. So it's cool to see you here. And I saw, yeah, you were interacted somehow in my Facebook video today. Thank you so much. I don't really have an agenda for today. I was just kind of hanging out on a Friday night by myself, and I just thought, I'm in the mood to continue doing live video, and it felt a little bit earlier than the last live video I did here for this channel, and I want to find another even earlier time so more of you guys can join. I see there are 3 people here now. Feel free at any point to just jump in and say hello, tell me something about yourself, ask a question. What I love about doing live videos is the interaction, and this goes for you guys watching the recording as well. If you have anything you want to say. I read pretty much every comment. In fact, I was thinking today, since I didn't have an agenda for this video, that I would just read through some comments on the previous video and just kind of wing it and just share what's been going on in this week. In general, I always forget what I talk about in my other videos, so I apologize if I repeat myself. My last video was about resistance and spiritual fatigue, and just reflecting on that and thinking a lot about resistance this week. There's actually a really great book that I think it's called The War of Art. I feel like it's by Stephen Pressfield, but I'm blanking on I think that's the title of it, but it's all about resistance. So I started reading that today, and I've just been reading like crazy. I will link below to my new favorite resource, which I'm almost positive I mentioned in the last video. It's called Overdrive, and it allows you to download ebooks and audiobooks for free as long as you have a library card. And I'm just so over the moon about this. I guess I've been using it for 2 or 3 weeks now, and I can't get enough. I download books left and right. I'm always listening to an audiobook or reading an ebook at this point. It is like my heaven. I have over 200 books on my queue right now, so just be prepared for me to be talking about a lot of books. That's how I've been spending a lot of my time lately, is just reading, absorbing information, and thinking about things. You know, I've just struggled a lot lately with action, with implementing things, with just doing things. But I'm not at any shortage at all of information and inspiration and all of that. I just saw a few comments come in, so I'll read those real quick. Vi is here. Green Dragon, thank you for your sweet comment. I'm not wearing any makeup. I just got, I went to yoga class a few hours ago, so this is me completely makeup free. Yeah, so thank you for the sweet comment. This is like the only channel where I feel really comfortable doing videos without makeup. I don't know. I wish that I was comfortable doing videos all the time without makeup, because it makes it so much easier to just show up on camera and not have to spend at least a few minutes getting camera ready. But if you missed what I said earlier, just chime in at any point. There's really no major agenda here. This is really just meant to be a check-in, a hello. I'm going to read some comments. I always get a little nervous, but there aren't any thumbs downs on the last video, which means most comments are going to be very positive, I assume. Hugh Kim asked, am I born again Christian? Honestly, I'm not sure because I've just started exploring Christianity much more seriously than I ever have in my life. About a year ago, I started going to church, and I've been going to church most Sundays for the past year. Yeah, I feel like most is a good word. There's been like a few months where I like didn't go at all, but I try to go every Sunday, and I've been learning a lot about Christianity just out of curiosity. I was raised with Christian parents, or I was raised by parents who were raised very Christian, but neither of them chose to practice their Christianity in their marriage, in terms of like raising their children. So we didn't go to church or anything, but the ideas of Christianity played a big role in my childhood and my life. My mom still has a lot of that mindset. My grandparents were really into it. And so I don't know. I guess I'm born again Christian. I don't entirely know what that phrase means, to be completely honest. I feel like kind of insecure about Christianity because like a lot of the people that I go to church with are like so knowledgeable about Christianity, and I just find myself like observing and listening and like trying to understand all of it. It's really just been a big exploration for me. I also consider myself very spiritual. I use a lot of the like Buddhist principles in my life, wearing my mala beads right now, which I'm constantly wearing these. And I go to meditation, and I read all these books that are maybe lean a little bit more towards Buddhism than Christianity. But it's interesting as a lot of the spiritual books, the personal development books, have like this fusion of those religions. So it's just been an interesting journey for me to learn all about that. I do believe that there is some sort of universal or God plan, and I find that to be very comforting, and I kind of switch my mindset to be in the place of more co-creating my life and not feeling like 100% responsible for things, taking action but also having a lot of faith in my life, and recognizing that sometimes we just have to leave it up to God in some way or another. So that's been an interesting practice for me lately. Lots of comments here that I probably need to like spend a little bit more time reading in depth, so I'm just kind of scanning through them. These are just recent comments, mainly on my most recent video. I just appreciate you guys so much for being there for me. Like, I hope it goes both ways. I share my life not just like to have an online therapy session or anything, but really just to be able to bring you in on the journey, and hope that this inspires you and that you can see yourself in my life, and that we can learn things together. That's really just a huge part of it. But at the same time, the support that I get from you guys is just so incredibly wonderful, and I feel like you're my friends, which is awesome. And as I've mentioned for a while now, I've been working on this platform called Eco Vegan Pal, which is all about building a supportive system for people online that they can connect with one another. And when I finally break through my resistance, that will be up and going. I feel like I'm inching closer and closer to getting Eco Vegan Gal live, not like a live video, but like the platform being accessible. I'm inching towards that every day, but I just don't know when the doors will be officially open. You guys will be some of the first to know when that does happen. Jules asked if I had heard of Tonglen before, and that's, from my understanding, a Buddhist principle. And I have heard of that. I'm not an expert on it yet, but it came up when I was reading Pema Chodron's books. And I believe, if I'm thinking of the right thing, it's the practice of kind of like breathing in pain and kind of like absorbing pain that the whole world is experiencing, and then breathing out like love and peace and good things onto them. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. I know there is a principle like that, and I'm pretty sure that is Tonglen, if I'm saying it right. But that really hit home for me. So sometimes I do just take these deep breaths and imagine that I'm bringing in any of the suffering that's happening in the world around me, and then doing my best to feel it and then release it and kind of put out this peaceful feeling, not just for myself, but for other people. And when I first heard about that, I felt like that was just such a wonderful thing to do. So wouldn't it be amazing if we all did that all the time? Okay, a bunch of comments just came in. Let me check these out. Thanks again. Green Dragon is just showering me with compliments, which is very, very sweet. Kim says she was raised in church and is getting back into going. I will say that since I wasn't really raised in church, I've heard different things. So I'll say from my perspective and then what I've heard from other people. So for me, church was like something that seemed really boring, something that you had to do. I would go to church every once in a while with friends or with grandparents or other family members, and I was just like not into it at all. I didn't get it, and it just like felt kind of unnecessary. And then I had all these ideas for a while about Christianity, and just like boxing you in and having these rules and structures. And so I was putting all these judgments onto Christianity. And it wasn't until I started going to the church that I'm going to now where I had a completely different perspective. The church I go to is a non-denominational church, and it's just very like modern. It's kind of targeting like millennials. It's run by millennials. So it's got this young feel, and it just completely opened my eyes to a different experience of church. So I would say if anybody's been thinking about church or like just curious about it, try a few till you find one that you like, or maybe you won't find any that you like, but they're not all the same is my point. And there are some that are like more modern feeling, and like everything about them is very different from like when I would think of like the church buildings with the pews and all of that, and like you sitting on these uncomfortable seats and it's boring and you don't know what anybody's talking about and you're reading the Bible. Like my church experience is like, it's in a community center in Los Angeles. It's been like transformed into church just on Sundays. Like I said, it's run by like really young pastors that are all around my age, and they have amazing worship music in the beginning and smoke machines and lights, and like that just appeals to me. When I first went, it felt like I was going to a concert, and I was like, what is happening? And then the messages, the pastor speaks for like 30 minutes, and they're always really timely things that relate to my life. So that's why I go. I just like the experience. And I would also say that there is a presence of God there in church. So it helps me connect with God deeper, or in a different way than I would at home or in meditation, for example. And just the people there are really phenomenal. So I support anybody that wants to go check it out. Okay. Unlimited Flows says hello. I love hearing you talk about anything. It's such an honor. I mean, I love to talk, so honestly, I could do this all day, every day. I just like get insecure sometimes about like whether people even find what I'm doing interesting. So Vi said, my cousin a week ago said she's going to start eating more things on the vegan side. That's great news. I never want any kind of pressure, not me, not others, just like to advertise vegan things. You should remind where I can find some information for vegan stuff for women. You have to clarify a little what you mean by vegan stuff, because there's a lot of different types of vegan things out there. So I can certainly point you in the right direction for all sorts of vegan things if you give me some more specific guidance for what you're looking for. In the meantime, I'm going to continue looking at some comments here. Yeah, I don't know if there are any questions. It's just a lot of people being very supportive. So I guess I'm just going to leave it up to whatever comes to my brain while I'm here live with you guys, or whatever you guys want to chime in and talk about. I suddenly got really thirsty, so I'm going to grab something that I can also tell you more about. This is something that I was going to say my new favorite, but I've had this for a little while. I just wasn't really putting it into use. So this bottle is a water bottle that I put over there on my nightstand, and it has all of these positive words on it. The biggest word is believe. It says faith, magic, travel, love, faith, joy, serenity, family, passion, hugs, wonder, share, life, joy, community, kiss, friends, wonder. There's just like all of these positive words on here. And there's this book based on this study about the power of having words written on bottles of water. I forget his name. I know his first name starts with an M and his last name starts with an E. That's what I remember. But he did all this research and showed that water kind of like transforms when it's surrounded by positivity, whether it's just words or whether it's someone praying over it or something like that. And so I decided, as part of my personal development and taking good care of myself, that I was going to drink most of my water out of this bottle when I'm at home and keep it on my nightstand, which is also turned into, like, for lack of a better word right now, kind of like an altar. I don't know if that's the right word, but I spend a lot of time in bed. I often work in bed on my laptop. I just find that very cozy, comforting space there. And so I decided to, like, turn my nightstand into this place of positivity and love. And I'm going to do a video about this probably for the main Eco Vegan Gal channel at some point very soon. But on the table, there is my salt lamp, which is in the shape of a heart. And then I have a bunch of, like, rocks and stones that have, like, meaning behind them, and crystals, gems, that sort of thing. I have a candle. It's called a love candle. It's got this amazing smell, and it's got actual crystals in it. It has rose quartz in it and moonstone. And then I'd have my journal there. Like, I just basically have, like, this very positive place. It's like a little white round table right there. I have some of my favorite books, whatever I'm reading at the time. And so anyways, when I fill up this water bottle and I put it on that table next to this heart-shaped salt lamp, and I just imagine this being filled with love and vibrating with loving energy all the time. And it just makes me feel really good when I drink it. So I'm going to have some right now because I'm really thirsty all of a sudden. But, for me, another part of my practice, so these mala beads, I have 2 of these, and each one represents something different based on the stones and the crystals that are in the mala. So you can't really see it, but I have my other one hanging on the post there, and I alternate between the 2 of them. This one is mainly to encourage self-love, or to bring about feelings of self-love within yourself. So whenever I feel like I'm feeling kind of insecure, or maybe I'm not being super kind to myself, or I'm feeling anxious or depressed or sad or any of those low emotions, I put on this mala just to remind me to love myself and to practice self-love all the time. And the other one is it has a number of purposes. One of them is to attract love into your life. So I'll wear that sometimes when I want to attract more love into my life from other people outside of myself. And so, yeah, that whole section over there by my bed has become that super positive, loving place, and I feel like it's really made a difference. And Kim just said, I got my mala beads from the post you did, and I love them. That's awesome. So I actually posted about these mala beads. They sponsored an Instagram post of mine, like, probably about a month ago. And the company sent me these beads, or they gave me a code and allowed me to choose the one that I want. The company's called Mala Beads, and I'll link to them below. I'll link to my referral link, because if you guys use that, they give you, like, at least $10 off. Their prices are crazy. I don't know how they get these mala beads so inexpensive. Makes me a little wary, but they seem to be a really great company, and they donate money to women, and they're trying to give women all these jobs. Like, it seems like a very reputable company. Just don't ask me how their prices are so low, because I have no idea. But anyways, you can use the code in the link when this video is up on the channel. And so that's what Kim was just referring to, and that's awesome, Kim. I hope you've been enjoying them. I'd love to know which ones you have specifically. It took me hours to decide which mala bead, because they're all really beautiful. When you go to their website, you'll see, like, they're beautiful looking, but then you read the descriptions, and each of the different mala beads have different, like I said, purposes behind them, or energy based on the stones and the gems that are on the string. So I think it's very cool. I want to get some more for myself and just have one for every purpose. I saw another comment via said, I'm sending love. Thank you so much. Unlimited Flow says that bottle is high frequency, next level drink. I'm going to start, hold on. Still getting used to moderating all these comments. I'm going to start doing positive programming water as well. That's awesome. I'd love to hear if it works for you. You know, a lot of these things that I do, speaking of positive programming, that's pretty much all I do. I'm focusing so much on myself lately, and it is making a difference, but slowly. It's a very subtle process, and I've taken a lot of time, as I've talked about in the last video when I was discussing resistance and spirit, what did I call it? Spiritual exhaustion, spiritual fatigue. You know, it takes a long time to work through that, and you have to be very, very purposeful to heal yourself emotionally. What's interesting, though, is I've just felt so deeply that I'm on the right path with this, and this is a very important thing for me, to just pour my, all my energy into taking good care of myself and really like raising my vibration and feeling my very best. Because as I explained in that video, everything that my whole career every element of my career is based around me at some point. And so I have to be my very best in order to do that work and to do the best work possible. But it just takes a lot of time and dedication to take good care of yourself. And I have ups and downs every single day. And that's really tough. But I've trained myself after, really being dedicated to this for the past couple months. I've basically been training myself into finding all of these ways to pull myself out of funks as quickly as possible and not judge myself for those times where I feel low, and just like train myself to go into the self-love. And actually one book that's in my queue right now, speaking of amazing books in my list of hundreds of books that I want to read, one that's got a pretty high priority is, I forget the name of it, but I will tell you once I read it. My friend was telling me about this book that teaches you how to train your brain to create new pathways of thoughts. And she was describing it as, in my head, I was thinking about my grandparents' dog. My grandparents had this dog named Skippy, who was also a Jack Russell, like Evie. And in my grandparents' backyard, they would let the dog out to play, and he actually created this path because he would always run back and forth in the exact same spots of the yard. So we used to call it Skippy's Speedway, because he would just like run from one side of the yard to the other, and it was always on the exact same path, so he wore it down. Similar to like a path you would see in the woods, like people will eventually create a trail if enough people walk across the same area, right? So just for visual purposes, my friend was explaining that apparently that same thing happens in our brains. We get so used to doing the same things and having the same thoughts that we start to create these pathways in our head, and it's very hard to get off of those pathways once we've created them, and that's why it's hard for us to make changes. Now, I haven't read the book yet, so I don't know if that's the best description of it, but that makes complete sense to me. And ever since my friend said this a few days ago, I have felt like I need to continuously practice things for a while in order to see a big difference. Because as you know, you can walk across a path one time and it'll barely look like you've been there. Like imagine like a path of grass. When you walk across it, like a few blades will break and maybe there'll be like footprints, but the grass will eventually start to grow up in this area. How am I so like, when you walk across grass, it kind of smushes down. Well, eventually, if you only walk across it once, the grass will just start to come back up and it'll look like you've never been there. But if you walk that exact same path over and over again, through time, that grass will become worn away and it won't even be there anymore. And so that's what I envision in my head, is like, we can't give up on ourselves in these best practices too easily, because we'll never wear ourselves to the point where they become habits and where they become our actual new way of thinking. And one of the books that I'm reading right now is similar to that. It's called The Love Code, and I will link to it down below if you want to check it out. Phenomenal book. And the author is talking about how this is part of the reason why affirmations often don't work for people. Affirmation would be something like, I am the best person, I am a great person, I love myself. Those became very popular in personal development, spirituality, and all of that. And I've tried those things for many years, but they don't work unless you do them a ton, like every day. You create a habit around them, but they still might not work unless you truly believe them. And so believing them is the trickiest part. And I would say that's a huge thing that I've realized about myself and personal development. I'm curious if you guys can relate to this, is that you can do all sorts of good things for yourself, but if you don't truly believe in it, you're not going to get the strongest results that you want. And I feel like that's just the core issue for most of the things that don't go the way we want them to in life, is we have to so deeply believe in them. It can't just be us consciously saying, I believe in this, but we have to unconsciously, deep down at the seat of who we are, the heart of who we are, believe in something. And that is a hard thing to do. So through all of this personal development work that I've been doing, I see myself not believing things all the time. And it kind of surprises me. I'm like, what? Yeah, I believe in myself, but there's still this little bitty voice somewhere within me that doesn't believe in the things that I consciously think that I believe in. And that's been a really interesting realization. So that's why I've been really enjoying a lot of these books like The Love Code, which are kind of breaking it down and how to work through this. And that other book I mentioned, I'm going to read about the brain and creating the new pathways. I haven't finished The Love Code yet, but apparently there's a lot more to come and how to learn all of this. And I'm very excited to share that with you guys, because I think that can make some amazing transformations. I think the reason you guys are here and enjoy these videos is that you want to become better versions of yourself, and you want to love yourself more, you want to love other people more, you want to do good things for the world. But a lot of us just face that resistance at some point. We face that doubt. And I guess for so long I thought it was just a matter of creating systems and oh, if I just create a list of the things I want to do and know what my goals are, I'm going to get there. But as the book The Love Code points out, that rarely works for people. That's why people continue going to therapy. That's why people are going on diets all the time. That's why people can try everything in the world and still not get the massive success that they want. They're always searching for something. Is because there's something within them that doesn't fully believe it. And there's just that element missing there. So we have to train ourselves somehow to heal from all of these elements of disbelief and heal ourselves from past pain. And it's just hard. It's a lot of work. Kim just said something. She said, very tricky. I have a hard time with affirmations too. Yeah, I think it's a lot about experimenting. And Kim, I think you can relate to this too. It's similar to working on your body physically. Kim is in the fitness world, so I know this will, she'll understand this concept. I work out very frequently, and I'm always experimenting with different types of fitness and different types of eating. But I feel like consistency is where you really see the results, and yet a lot of times it's hard to become very consistent until we get results. So for me, I notice I'll try something for maybe a month, oftentimes a little less than that, and I'll give up so soon because I'm not seeing results, or the results are way too subtle. But it's rare in my life that I've been consistent for a long period of time to really be able to evaluate whether or not things actually work. And I think this has been very true with my business, my career. This has been very true with my body, and this has been true with my mind. And something that I keep coming back to time and time again is that I need to be more consistent. And consistency is doing something on a regular basis for a long period of time. That's where you get results. So instead of committing to something for a few weeks or a few months, I think a lot of commitment needs to be 6 months to a year. I know for business that is hugely true. I read from some respected entrepreneur recently who estimates it takes minimum 9 months to a year of consistent work in order to see great progress and success. And I feel like that is not spoken about very much. People just think that they're going to see results pretty quickly, and since they don't see the results, people often give up within a very short amount of time. So my new thing is to encourage myself and also to encourage you to be consistent for a long period of time. I was just listening to something about love, and the guy talking about it was giving the advice of, if you want to meet the love of your life, you need to be constantly meeting new people. And he was giving this challenge to meet 200 new people in a year, and that's where you're going to get the results. And I was like, a year? Like, who's going to commit to that? Like, that just seems so, like, people want to meet the love of their life tomorrow, today. Like, but I feel like we've become this, like, this culture of instant gratification, and so, you know, even a month feels too long, but 12 months is like beyond most people's comprehension. And yet, time and time again, whether it's fitness, whether it's working on your mental health, whether your personal development, or whether it's love or your career, all of these things take time. And I'm starting to recognize that on a deeper level, and being a lot more patient. I don't know about you guys, but I have been a very impatient person for a lot of my life, and that's another thing that I've just been learning lately, is to have more and more patience. So I feel like that was like a pretty good topic to talk about for a while. I've now crossed over the 30-minute mark, so I'm going to start to wrap things up. I mean, honestly, I could just do live videos for hours and hours, and who knows, maybe that should just be my path. You know, I was thinking today, when I was starting this new series on the Eco Vegan Gal Facebook page and the Eco Vegan Gal YouTube channel, the common comments were that the videos were too short. I was aiming to do 5-minute live videos because I'd received a number of comments of people saying my videos were too long, and I was looking at the view counts and thinking, who's going to watch an hour-long video? But it's funny that 5 minutes is too short for some people, and like some people will watch an hour-long video that I do, and honestly, I much prefer to do the hour-long videos. As you guys know from this channel, like, I can easily do a 20 or 30-minute video without editing and just post it, and that's just been my style here because I actually much prefer that. So I'm just kind of trying to figure out what feels best to me and what really works for people. And I think it's really coming down to the consistency thing. I think I need to stick with some of these formats for at least 6 months. So I hope that you guys will hold me to that, but I also love getting your feedback. As I've said many times, I read pretty much every comment, email, private message, social media message that comes in. I'm not so great about responding right now, but I do read it all, and I take your feedback very, very seriously. So I love hearing from you. I'm going to take a drink of my high vibe water and then check in on a few more comments and wrap this up. I feel like water even tastes better out of this. This is just my filtered water, but something about drinking it out of glass with all these words on here. So I see. Okay, so Vi is saying that he wants to watch live videos for a long time, but not recordings. I think that makes sense. And you know what's interesting is a number of people just joined in the past few minutes. So sometimes I have to do a live video for like at least 5 to 10 minutes before people join. But after we cross the 30-minute mark is when the most people have been here. So I don't know. Live video is still a bit of a mystery to me. But I am going to be, like I said, for the main Eco Vegan Gal channel, doing consistent videos. So I really would like to do consistent live videos for you guys here and actually have a schedule. So as we wrap things up, I will again ask you, when is a good time for you to watch these videos? I don't think that 10 p.m. Pacific is ideal, especially on a Friday night, but if you guys like this time, I can come back this time another day. If there's another time of day and a specific time of the week, day of the week that works really well for you and you guys want to watch live videos, let me know. I'd be happy to set that up and start doing them consistently. You know, there was a period of time for this channel where I was doing videos every Sunday, and that felt good to me, so perhaps I can start doing that again. I just need to figure out the right time. So Kim says that she likes evenings. Awesome. I like evenings too. If you guys didn't know this about me, I generally wake up quite late. So my day doesn't really start till late afternoon, and then usually in the evenings is when I work out. So late evenings tend to be good for me, but maybe I can do them more on like the 8 or 9 p.m. Pacific, or I can aim to do like 5 or 6 p.m. Pacific. I might just have to keep experimenting until I find that sweet spot. Or you guys can just let me know in a comment. All right, I'm going to wrap this up tonight because I'm going to get back to some reading. And I've also been watching, I always watch TV, if you guys didn't know this about me. Like, that's like my little break that I take after working, is I'll just alternate between whatever TV shows are on. And I've been watching The Handmaid's Tale since yesterday. There's 3 episodes out right now, and it's very fascinating. I read that book when I was in high school, and I highly recommend the TV show. It's kind of intense, definitely not appropriate for kids, but it does have a lot of things in it that feel like they might not be so far-fetched given the state of our world, or at least the state of the U.S., so it's very fascinating. Okay, a couple more comments came in before I wrap this up. M says, people complain about length, can watch at double speed. That's true. If people want to see me talk really fast, I guess they could. Can you do double speed on YouTube, though? That's a very interesting suggestion. I'm in the same boat, though. Like, when I see a video that's, like, even 10 minutes long, I often hesitate to watch it. But I feel like the core audience here on this Uncensored channel doesn't care, and I just love you guys for that. And you should remind about it at the start of every live video. Yeah, so I'm going to check this out before I go. Can you watch videos in double time? Maybe it's a plugin or something. Let's see. More people. I don't see that option. Oh, speed. Ah, you can. Okay, so there's yeah, I love the people that know this. Whoa, I had no idea, you guys. I feel like I know so much about YouTube, but I did not know about this feature. So when you're watching a video, at the bottom right corner, there's a little cog wheel, and you click on that, and it will normally say normal. Or no, you have to click on it, then choose speed, and then change speed to like whatever. So if you change it to 1.5, it goes slightly faster, or 1.25, 1.5, or 2. So 2 would be twice the time. That is a brilliant idea. I'm going to try that out myself. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Very good idea. I'm going to take your suggestions into mind and see what people think. Evie just hopped on the bed, which means that she probably wants me to go join her over there. So I'm going to end this video, grab my laptop, finish watching Handmaid's Tale, and then get back to reading or some various other work. Thank you guys for joining live. Thank you for watching the recording. Just thank you so much for being part of this channel, part of my journey. As I've said many times, I can't wait to launch Eco Vegan Pal so that I can finally have that community in place that I've been wanting for so long. So once that happens, you guys will know, and lots of cool features will be built into that over time that I'm super excited about. In the meantime, make sure that you check out social media. I post Instagram stories almost every single day. I post pretty regularly on Facebook. I would say I'm most active on Twitter these days. I don't know. Because I'm not very consistent, I don't have like a super consistent schedule on any of those, except now for the Fridays at 5 at 5 on Facebook, and then the main Eco Vegan Gal YouTube channel. I've been doing a lot of live videos over there, deeply enjoying that. I did one almost a week ago about a pig vigil that I went to, which was a really intense experience, but I encourage you guys to watch that video because it will take some of your understanding of animal rights and veganism to a different level. So I wouldn't say it's a super hard video to watch, but it is a challenging subject matter. But I encourage you guys to check it out and see for yourself. All right, I look forward to your comments on this video. I will link to things I talked about today in the description field once this is on the channel. And I will see you guys very soon once I figure out a live schedule so we can connect on a more regular basis. Have a phenomenal rest of your Friday, and until next time, bye. Bye, Kim. Oh, you were crying. I know that video, the vigil video, was really, really something. All right, on that note, bye everyone.